It's supposed to be right. Let me see if I'm live. I'm doing crazy stuff here in front of the camera. You guys even catch me singing, maybe? Who knows? Oh, yeah. Okay, peeps. I think I'm live here. Let me just turn this off. And then we're going to start our conversations today. Okay, so the title of our live today, it is, you guys, it's just, I don't know if you're here, my computer is just chee-doo, 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 chee-doo. Friends, I'm live, friends. Talk to me, come to the live. Okay, the topic for the live today, I put it there like the bag of life. So it is because, yeah, Katie, I see you. Are you the bag lady? Yes, I'm the bag lady. Look my big bag. Let's talk about bag today. Um, I'm the kind of person that love handbags, okay? But I like big handbags, something like that and up. Why? Because I care with me a lot of stuff. Most junk, not necessary stuff, but it's something that I care with me. So, for example, everybody has one mask in his own bag. I have a bag full of masks. And maybe you go, bump into somebody and the person doesn't have a mask. You can land a new mask for the person. What else? Cruz credo. That's my very small wallet. And this small, you can see it doesn't have anything and has tons of stuff. Here include my mini note taker stuff. Of course, you needed to have one, to hydrate your lips because it's something that you need. And my bag looks like most of the time the way we treat life. Okay, we go through life carrying all that stuff with us, past experiences, trauma, resentment, good moments, happy moments, the grudge that I have from someone because they did something that I don't even remember anymore what was, but I still hold the grudge. And if you stop and just get a little close look in your bag, in your life, you're gonna figure it out that you are carrying a bunch of stuff that is not necessary. That's just making your life hard. That's making your life difficult, making you sometimes miserable. Okay? This is my little, I used to call first aid bag. So you can find here medication, you can find asthma, that's probably expired because my doctor prescribed this for me like 6 years ago. Still here in my bag. Anyway, another hand sanitizer, lipstick. You never know when you're gonna break your nail. That's necessary, kind of. And another lipstick. Another lipstick. What else? Hair stuff for hair. Anyway, may or may not be necessary be in my bag. I just find the case of my glasses that was disappeared. See? It's empty, but it's in my bag. And I'm going up and down with this empty case inside here. Oh, that's another mask. This is probably used one. Another kid mask. And you're gonna get where I'm going with this. That's my keychain that has, oh, look at this. I'm a prepared person. If I need to do CPR in someone, I do have the CPR mask. Have one in your bag. It's very nice. Oh, this cheese is probably expired too. No, you don't put cheese in your bag and leave it there. Pretty garbage. Chiclet, because everybody needs chiclet. Another hair stuff. Some bar. Hey, Gatão, are you in the live today? Wanna say hi for everybody? That's my gatinho, my little kitty. You wanna play your seats now? Mommy, you're gonna teach something right now, okay? Can you do that? No? Okay. Looks like gonna be my buddy today. Oh, of course, I have sacrament cups here. That's garbage. And let's see what else. Another, I don't know why I have so many cereal bar in my bag. So, ta-da! Now, oh, I still have something. A pen. Can be useful. You never know. And you need to sign something, you don't have a pen. So, if I be honest with myself, what I really, really need in my bag, it is my keys. So here in the top. My wallet, and probably a small wallet because that is too big. And let's say I'm gonna leave one mask here and my hair stuff just for around. So that's all I need in my bag to be true. All this other stuff that I just removed here, it is probably totally unnecessary, okay? And how that is related with your life. By the following. We learn that in life, we're gonna have hardships. We're gonna have trials and difficulties and, challenge, all those things. It is inevitable. You're gonna have that in your life. So I consider that like the car key and your ID and maybe a debit card or so. Will always be there in the bag in some way or another. Okay, and that little guy is distracting you. But everything else is optional. The pain, the grudge, the unforgive situation, it is optional. You can say, but I am different. I have this and that circumstances in my life that makes this different. And I'm gonna break to you something. You are not. That's human being nature. There is situations or circumstances, and that is the thoughts that we have about the circumstance. Their thoughts are optional. It's like budgeting. I always had problems with budget. I don't like the name. I don't like what it implies to me. And when my husband used to say, baby, we need to sit and update the budget, I just went nuts because I don't like it. But it's not because the budget it itself. Budget is only met 2 plus 2 equal 4. If I have 10 and I need to pay something that is 4, I'm gonna have left 6. That's budget. But what I make budget mean for me, it is the drama. Like, oh my gosh, I don't like to do that because I feel constricted, I feel limited, I feel that you are judging me the things that I'm putting in my budget. I felt that because I bought something that was out of the budget, now I feel the guilt of that. So all of those things are drama. It is not budget, okay? It is like our life, the bag that we carry stuff around. I can choose to keep thinking about budget in a constricting negative way, or I can take a bit, another look in the budget and say, you know what, budget can be a tool for freedom. I can plan ahead what I want to do with my finances instead of let the circumstances plan for me. I can save some money for some difficult time. I can pay a tithing. I can, choose the most important things. That because there is so many amazing good stuff out there, I needed to choose what I want to invest on. That's another kind of thought that I can choose as well. So budget is met. Everything else is drama. Life is like a bag. We can carry everything in your shoulders, and that give you back problems and pain and uncomfortness. Or I can take in my bag like I just did a few minutes ago. Take a closer look on it. Remove the things that is not serving me anymore, and leave the things that's still serving me. Like the medication that's probably expired. It doesn't serve me anymore. But for some reason, it's still inside of my bag, right? So sometimes we needed to take a little look on our thoughts. And now I say sometimes, I say at least once a day, because those things accumulated. We go out every day with your bags. We go out to the world every day with your bags. And sometimes you're going to put receipts and, the half package of crackers that your kid just didn't finish, you threw in the bag. And sometimes it stayed there like for a week or a month. We didn't need it. And you are carrying that uh, extra weight with you, with no necessary, no, with no real need to do that. We are living in a moment right now that we are in a pandemic. So it is something that I never saw before in my lifetime. Neither saw my mom saw something like this. And it has been an interesting time for me and for my family. So I could reflect in many things, include the things that can I continue carrying in my bag that does not serve me anymore. Like sometimes I torture myself in the thought, what I miss when my kids were in the school, like the real school that can, for the good parts, they could create a good relationship, make friends and learn, blah, 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 blah. And because I'm so focused on that part, sometimes I forget the blessing of they being home. They are home, they're safe. I can spend more time with them. There is all those thoughts is also available to me. So today, that's what I'm calling you, everyone, to do it. Let's take a closer look in your bag, in your life, and see what are the things that is still serving you and which things doesn't serve anymore. Maybe it was that something that your husband did like 3 weeks ago and you're still upset with, or the fact that because the pandemic you lose your job. Beholding to the negative and the drama does not gonna help you get up, feel motivated to find a new job, to go after the things you always dream about to have. Okay, and just gonna give you a weight and a back pain. So speaking of bags today, I decided to teach you how to make a tote bag. Halloween is Saturday, if I'm not wrong. I'm not very good at my time and all those kinds of things. And you can even use it to go trick or treat and ask for some candy with your new cool bag. Okay, that's what we are going to go to. So I choose, let me show you this cutie fabric. I don't know if you can see. It's because it's a kind of a Halloween-ish print, but can also be used out of Halloween if you prefer, because it's more like a moon star kind of stuff. And I'm gonna use this fabric as the outside fabric, and I'm gonna line my bag with a black color because I want to make a reversible tote bag. So you can use any size you choose, okay? So let's go. Let me see if my camera is on. Let's go and move it to the table. Let's see. And we are going, ooh, that is the sewing machine. And we are going to take a look in how we're going to start to do that, okay? So to begin with, you're going to need a yard and a half of the fabric in total. You can choose to do, uh, oops, 3/4 of yard of your outside fabric and 3/4 of yards of black, or you can decide to do half yard of your outside fabric and half yard of the lining, and half yard of an additional fabric. That's what I choose. I'm gonna make uh, with these three colors of fabric. We're gonna make the bag today. So you choose how you're gonna distribute your 1.5 yards. Like everything in life, you have this choice, okay? So what you're gonna do first? First, we gonna cut the rectangles for our bag. You're gonna need 6 rectangles total, okay? And a total of 6 rectangles. Each one gonna measure 17 by 15 inches. And how are you gonna do that? You can have like 3 blacks and 3 uh, print, in my case here, my 3 print fabrics. Or you can have, what I did for this one was like 3 prints, 2 blacks, 1 green. That's what I did in mine, okay? But you can choose how you're gonna do this arrangement. And how we're gonna start. I already prepared the outside of the bag just to, make this tutorial a little quicker. But I'm gonna show you how to make the inside that is exactly the same way that we make the outside. Because remember, there's gonna be a reversible tote bag, okay? So first I'm gonna cut my rectangles. And then each of my rectangles gonna need to be kind of a reinforced. I'm gonna use something that's called stabilizer, okay? It is kind of a intratel. I don't know if that's the name in English, but that's how the name is in Portuguese. So it is a stabilizer. And how you apply this on your fabric. Let me show you here. This is a little piece of fabric that I'm gonna show you how to put the stabilizer. You're gonna cut the stabilizer the exact same size of the fabric that you want to put it together, okay? I'm gonna show you here because I don't think you can. It's that kind. You're gonna use the little balls, rough side, to be in contact with the fabric. So you're gonna be like, this is the right side, this is the wrong side of the fabric. I'm gonna put my stabilizer here. And I do not iron on top of the stabilizer. I iron on top of the fabric. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take my iron, a hot iron, and dry. You don't need to use the steam to do that. And I'm gonna iron for a few seconds. And that's, oops, wrong side. Oh, yeah, little balls. Oh no, my iron is off. Doing my iron off. Don't do that to me, beautiful iron. My iron is off. I can't understand. My kiddo was there, so I don't know what he was doing. Let's see if it is pulling the cable. Okay. Yeah, the cable was pulled off. Kiddos are mine. Anyway, so make sure you iron it is. Turn it on and hot when you're doing this, okay? You're gonna take like a few minutes to warm it up. But that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna put your fabric on top of this stabilizer material. The rough side of the stabilizer gonna be to the wrong side of the fabric. And then with a hot iron, gonna take a little time. You're gonna press this for a few seconds, and this stabilizer gonna stick to your fabric because this kind of stabilizer is kind of a heat bound, okay? They're gonna get stuck here. You see the iron is start to warm up, so the thing can stick to the fabric. And that's how you're gonna do with all 6 pieces, 6 rectangles that you had cut. See? That make your fabric more stiff. If you can see it, it's not so malleable like before. It's a little bit more stiff. So, what else we're gonna do before you start to go to the fun part, like I call that is sewing? You're gonna cut 2 strips. Sorry, it's not stripes, it's strips. You're gonna cut 2 strips of at least 4.5 inches wide. Why? Because you're gonna need those strips to make your I forget the bag handles. These guys here, okay? So it is a 4.5 inch wide, at least that. Why? Because that's what we're gonna do. After cut, you can come and mark your fold in half like this. Come with your iron, give a little press. Okay. Then if you notice, they're gonna make a mark in the middle. It's kind of a place to follow. Here, I'm gonna do what? I'm gonna fold this area in half as well, and I like to hold with a little pin. And then I'm gonna fold the other side also in half. So what I'm making here, it is like I'm making a bias tape. Okay? That's what I'm making here. And mark, hold here with my pin. And I'm gonna do this the whole length of the strip. And then I'm gonna here, dry heat in a nice steam because I want this shape to hold on my strip. Okay, and I'm gonna do that in the whole strip unit, all the way down. So this strip here, it is like 4.5 by, I think it's 42 inches. It is the whole length of the whole width of my fabric. Okay, so after do that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold in half again. And you see where I'm going here? I'm gonna fold in half again, and that's gonna be the bag. and good steam and press. So it's gonna keep the shape. Okay. And I'm gonna do this 2 times because I need 2 of those strips. Strips. I always call strips. It's terrible. Okay. After I do that, what I'm gonna do is bring everything to my sewing machine. Okay, let's put the sewing machine in place. Let's put it here. There's a red. My sewing machine already thread, just to make that process easy. And then I'm gonna show you what you can do with this nice long press strip. Okay. Okay, let me see here. So it's close enough. I think you can see now. Okay, I'm gonna take my strip and bring to the sewing machine. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna top stitch all the way to the length of my strip. And I start with this little edge here. I'm gonna sew here, pivot, and keep sewing, okay? And by doing this, I have a good and nice strip for my bag. I don't wanna sew that one because, look, that's the result. I sew here, backstage, to anchor, and then I sew all the way down, and I finish exactly the same way, okay? Coming here to the edge, I pivot and finish. Okay. So, what else do I need to do for this cool easy bag? Let me show you here. I'm gonna take one of my rectangles. I'm gonna fold in half. See, I just fold it in half. And I'm gonna attach to one of the other rectangle, preferable the one that has a different print, okay? What I did also was I took a chalk pen, and I mark the middle here of my pocket, because what I'm gonna need to do it is top stitch this here all the way down. So I can have 2 different, it's kind of a very long pocket, and I can make this big long pocket, 2 pockets, okay? Let me show you. You can use a normal chalk pen, or you can use those kind of pens that is heat. They go away when you heat the fabric. So super cool. Okay, let's go back in sewing machine. Sewing machine friend here, bring super close for you guys to see it, how it goes. I'm gonna have to pin my fabric here, the position that I want. I'm gonna line up my needle to this line here that I mark in the fabric, okay? Put it down my feet. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come a few stitches in, and I back stitch this here because I want this area to be reinforced, okay? Then I follow my line and sew all the way down. If you notice, I'm just guiding my fabric to be keeping pass through this little line here, okay? Keep guiding the fabric, make sure when I get in the end, I just back stitch and end. So what else we gonna do with this big pocket? Now, if you take a look, instead of have a very long wide pocket, I have 2 pockets now, okay? What I'm gonna do also, it is stitch all the way, all the edge around here. Why? Because I want to make sure this pocket is fixed before I put all the pieces together, okay? So we're gonna put it down here again, and we're gonna start by back stitching. And something that I want you guys to keep attention is that let's see if you guys can see, my seam allowance here gonna be very small, gonna be something around a quarter of an inch, an eighth of an inch. Why? Because when I put my two pieces together, I need that little anchor stitch sewing allowance to be hidden, okay, not showing. So I'm gonna go sew here the edge all the way down, and then I stop, pivot, and keep sewing. Okay, very thin seam allowance. Very thin seam allowance. It has the function of hold my pockets nice and flat here. So when I am putting the two rectangles together, this here is not moving around, okay? That's all I am doing. So I'm gonna keep till I get to the end of the pocket. And back stitch and close. Okay, what else we're gonna need to do now that I finish put this pocket. Let's see, you can see better this way. If you can see that better this way. Okay, so that is my pocket. See, it's already attached to this square. So what else I'm gonna need to do? I'm gonna take my other, it's not a square, but it's a rectangle. My other rectangle, and I'm gonna put right sides together here. I'm gonna line all my corners together. And what I like to do is with the side that I can see the pocket uh, stitch. Can you see how thin it is? The seam allowance? It's very teeny. It's just to hold in place because I don't want this to be moving while I am attaching the two pieces together. Okay, I'm gonna align my edges. I like to put two pins around here just to hold the fabric in place. What I also gonna need to do is I'm gonna need to have an opening on this. The outside, I sew all the way around the three sides of the rectangle here. But this rectangle here, the inside rectangle, gonna need to have a little opening that your hand can go to. Why you gonna need that? Because when you attach to the other piece of your tote bag, you're gonna need this opening to be able to move from inside out, okay? So let's give a little mark here. You can let your opening to be in the side of your piece, in the bottom of your piece, you decide, okay? I think I'm gonna leave my opening in the bottom here. So I'm gonna put a pin to mark the place where I'm gonna stop stitching. Let's see if it gets my hand here. Okay, see, now I have my place, the place that I'm gonna stop stitching marked with those pins. And then what I'm gonna need to do, I'm gonna sew this side first, and then I go and sew the other side. Let's bring the sewing machine closer to the camera so you guys can see. What I'm gonna do now? Now I'm gonna use a seam allowance of 1/2 of an inch or 5/8 of an inch. Again, how do you gonna find this? In your sewing machine has this little plate with marks. And those marks can tell you where those measure it is. What is 1/2 an inch? What is 5/8 of an inch, okay? And I'm gonna use the 5/8 of an inch to close the sewing machine. So, the sewing machine to close this bag. I'm gonna put it down here. I'm gonna anchor like back and forth. And then I'm gonna follow the mark, or 1/2 an inch, or 5/8 of an inch. The most important it is, I need to have a seam allowance where this other seam allowance here, it is not the same and not after. So my seam allowance needs to come in a way that this seam allowance here, it is for you right, okay? That's all my objective about this seam allowance. I don't want this other seam allowance showing when I turn my bag inside out. So pause, pivot, put my feet down, and go sew until my mark, okay? So what I do when I get to this mark, I'm gonna first remove my pin, because remember, do not sew over pins because you can damage your sewing machine. Then I'm gonna back stitch. I'm gonna do the same in the other side of the back. Okay, in this case I'm gonna start here by my position, just because I want to keep seeing my seam lines. So I'm gonna back stitch and keep it going. Now that the sewing machine decided to keep moving. Okay, then I pivot when I get to my end point, get my foot down, and sew all the way to the end. Hope you guys can see it. Remember, I line up this edge with the edge of my feet or with the mark I have here in my sewing machine plate, so I can have a uniform seam allowance all the way through my project. And why that is important? Because anytime that I change my seam allowance width, I also change the way the piece is gonna fit on the project, okay? In this case, it's a bag. Maybe you're not gonna have a lot of problem, but imagine if you have a so different seam allowance that later your pieces of your bag does not fit anymore, and you needed to do everything again. That's probably not cool. Okay, so what I usually do is I come in here in this corner and I cut the excess. Look. And why I do that? I do that because when I turn this bag inside out, I can have a sharper looking finish edge. Let me cut some extra threads around. And let's go for the other part. So let me show how this is gonna be looking like and what we're gonna do next. When you turn this around, look, I'm gonna put my hand in here in the big opening. I'm gonna put, that's what you're gonna see. I'm gonna pull my little little edge all the way to the end, so I can have like a short, nice looking edge corner. See? If this was my outside layer, that's how they're gonna be looking. See? Just like the other. I have the pocket, the back is clear, but the difference it is I have an opening here, because when I finish my bag, I'm gonna need this open, like I told you. But the inside part of the bag gonna need to be that way, okay? So what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing the wrong side of the fabric, the right side of the fabric it is inside. So what I'm gonna need to do, I'm gonna take my outside, my other side of the bag, and I'm gonna positioning my strips, okay? I chose this distance here, but you can, doesn't have like an accurate measure. I just think like if I open my hand here, probably this distance is gonna be just fine and okay. So I first put one side and pin in place, like you can see it, and then I did the same to the other side. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take this and put inside of that big pocket here. And what is my big concern here is like I want this pocket to be in a different side of that pocket when they get inside. So if I'm looking my bag inside, I want this pocket to be in a different side of this pocket. Why? Oh, because when I sew everything together, I don't want to be sewing is crazy. It's not even sewing that, but I don't want to have like a crazy thick side and a not so thick side on my bag. So what I'm gonna do is, I will take those seam allowances and line them up. Remember, I'm gonna put one towards one direction, the other one towards the other direction. That calls nesting. I'm gonna nest my seam allowances so I don't have a crazy bulk area to my machine pass through here. Because if this is too bulk, the machine can hold back and do not sew very well, okay? So then I'm gonna put a pin here to line it up. And I'm gonna do exactly the same to the other side of the seam allowance. And nest this, putting them together. See? Because my idea it is like I needed to sew all the way around. I cannot let have any opening on this process. And if you notice, my straps is hanging out kind of a half an inch to an inch. And I did that intentionally. Why? You're gonna see. Because I'm gonna need this little space here after I turn the bag inside out to reinforce my strap area, okay? So put some pins here all the way along just to help things be in place. You don't need moving. And then I'm gonna bring all this to the sewing machine and sew all the way around, closing this big circle. And that's why you need some kind of opening for later. You can come here and pull through this hole, okay? So let's put the sewing machine closer so you guys can take a nice look. And let's start to sew. So be careful to don't close everything together. You're gonna sew like this. You're gonna open it, this, and then you're gonna have a nice circle. And what else we're gonna do? You're gonna make sure you are sewing the inside layer going to the outside layer. And you're gonna have two layers, not, you're gonna have two layers, not four layers, okay? Let me put this together. So I'm removing my pin, and I'm start by anchor my stitching, and I am using a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Okay, and you see, you pull this all the way because you don't want to put this everything close, okay? You're gonna sew until you get to the other side, the side that you start. So remember, if this was something that you're gonna use in the wrong side, you need to be able to put something inside here. So you cannot sew all those pieces together. That's why you are holding these, putting, sewing just 2 layers on that, okay? I'm trying to say that a few times because when I start to sew things, I did that mistake. I put all the layers together and just sew the whole thing, and then I didn't have a bag. I just have a I don't know what it was that. So I needed to remove the whole width, the whole circumference of the stitch, and do everything again. Okay, so be careful to don't put the 4 layers together. You go two. You're gonna sew these 2 layers. You see, right sides together, and then I'm sewing these together. Try to make sure this does not come under my pressed foot and get it stuck there. So we're gonna need to redo everything, okay? Make sure everything's nice and flat. Oopsie. There we go. And then go to finish the same place you start. Anchor the stitch. That's the thread. And let's take a little look on what we just made around here. I'm gonna show you how to turn your bag in the right direction. Okay, so you finish to sew all these circumferences here. See, you put all the pieces together. And now what you're gonna do is you're gonna pull this through this opening. You're gonna pull all the inside out. Okay, how that look like now. And then I'm gonna come here, make sure my corners are nice and sharp. Push to, okay, nice and sharp. Okay, and that's how my bag is looking right now. Let me remove the extra pins I put to hold the thing. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open this and I'm gonna, oh, first I need to close this. So how are we gonna close? I'm gonna come here. If you pull all those things together, they're gonna open like this. If you do a nice stretch, they're gonna have the tendency to go to place. And then I'm gonna close. I can put a pin here to help me keep this closed, see? And what I'm gonna do is I can do in different ways. I can come and top stitch all the way around here. And then I'm gonna be closing my opening, or I can come with a needle and do by hand. I come and close my opening. I'm gonna do the top stitch all the way around because for me it's easier just come in the machine and do nice top stitching. Then I try to do this by hand, okay? But some people do prefer close this open by hand. If you can hear, my sewing machine is making like da, 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 da. It's because it is a very thick layer that the needle is going through, okay? And sometimes they make this sound. Pin, doing a pin, breaking my sewing machine. Okay. I will top stitch exactly the same way that I top stitch my strips. I'm gonna top stitch all the way. In this case, I'm topping stitch only the pocket area. I'm not top stitching all the way up, okay? I could do that, but I don't want to, do this right now. So I top stitch only this area here. And if you notice it, by top stitching, my opening was closed, okay? And now you're gonna choose which side you wanna use to go trick or treat. If you wanna go trick or treat on the black side, all you need to do is put the greens inside. Let me show you how we're gonna do that. To put everything inside, that's what you're gonna have. You need to adjust here, put the corners together. Just the top, a little bit. But that's how your bag is gonna be looking like, okay? If you decide to use the black side. And if you notice, you're gonna see a little extra fabric from the other side coming up on the top here. It's kind of a little detail, see? And you have this bag with very long strip. If you're a tall person, if you are not so tall like me, what you should do is you cut your strips a little bit more, and then you're gonna have a more fit size of strips for you, okay? So that's one way to use your bag. Or you can decide, no, you know what? I want to use the other side of my bag. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put all the black inside. And then you see, you come here, and you adjust the corners. Push the inside corners to finish the outside corners here. See? And just my corners inside. Just adjust. And that's what you're gonna end it up with. A nice bag. See, with your other print on the top. And all line it up. And if you look, you don't see a single seam allowance through that. So your bag is reversible. You can use the inside out side, or you can use just the outside side. And you can use this bag as a grocery bag, as book bag, trick-or-treat bag. You can give many uses for your cute little tote bag. And I hope you guys had liked the tutorial today. And what I'm gonna do is, if you want the measurements, the material list, and all those things, I'm gonna ask you to put your email down here so I can send to you, or that would be even better, you can DM me through message and I send the file for you, okay? Because I forgot to put the link here before I start. So if you are seeing this afterwards and I was able to edit and put the link so you can download the material list, awesome. If you don't find the link for the material list, just DM me and I send the material list and the pattern, like the measures or everything to you, okay? I hope you enjoyed the bag. Have a fun Halloween. And if you get a lot of candy, share with me, okay? I love candy. See you later, guys.